Max is with me today. We are talking about the AT&T data breach. I personally did not know about this until yesterday when I was in a meeting and it came up, but I do think that it is important to cover. So I'm going to play the general public today, but Max, tell me a little bit about what happened.
Yeah, so recently we found out through leaks, through sources, that AT&T had a pretty massive data breach. So right now their estimate, AT&T released a statement, it's about 73 million customers, includes about 7 million current customers, and then the rest are former. Data breach, so what you're talking about, that is what we're seeing is names, addresses, potentially social security numbers, potentially other personal identifying information was breached. Right now, AT&T is saying that financial information was not breached in there, but really when these things happen, it's really complicated to know how it happened, where it happened, who got the information, except for the fact it's out there and things are happening with it.
Okay, so if you are an AT&T customer or a former customer, what do I need to be looking out for?
Kind of the classic monitoring your accounts, looking for anything unusual. The concerning piece with having social security numbers, addresses, those type of things are that information could be used to apply for credit, could be used to apply and open a checking account at a different financial institution, try and get a loan, which obviously those are things when in general affecting your credit can be dramatic, but especially if it's someone opening a card, running up a balance, and that card gets charged off, it could take months, years to fix that with the credit companies and restore your credit.
Okay, so I'm an AT&T customer. So how do I know if somebody has taken my name and my address and is opening an account? How would I know that?
You're not going to know really initially. So occasionally what will happen is in these data breaches, once they kind of do their investigation, a lot of times they will provide resources that searchable databases, things like that will say, was your information potentially compromised?
Okay.
The other thing that you can do is all three of the credit bureaus have access. You can get access to a free annual credit report. So that's something where it might not be right now, but in the next month or two might be a good idea to check, see if there's been any inquiries on your credit. So usually what happens, and I'll say this for the entire financial sector, when we're aware of these type of data breaches, we're going to start scrutinizing credit card applications, loan applications, deposit openings a little bit more. So there's a chance that something were to get declined, nothing, you're kind of none the wiser on, hey, maybe you have one of those tools that monitors it on a daily basis. But what you want to be careful for is those inquiries, because if you see one and see, big bank credit card inquiry, that would be an indicator that if you didn't do that, your information is compromised.
Okay.
That's when you're going to need to look at, was it my social security number, names, addresses, things like that, and start to kind of create an action plan after that.
Okay. So I'm not going to lie. All of this sounds like super kind of overwhelming, and I feel like I'm kind of the person that I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope that my stuff wasn't taken. How important is it, if I am an AT&T customer, I could be part of this, that I do these steps, or what's the first step I should take, changing passwords? Second step would be looking at my credit report. Give me the first to the highest.
Actually, those exact steps. If you're concerned, change your passwords.
To what?
To I would say a passphrase for one. So instead of something, one word, number,
exclamation point.
Yep, doing a passphrase, something longer, more complicated. The one benefit here is the data right now is from 2019 and sooner, previous, I should say. So really the passphrase phenomenon didn't come until sooner.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance just changing your password is going to protect you a lot. It's one of those things where just in general, changing a password is going to limit their access to other websites where your payment information may be stored, banking information, your online banking, especially if
Okay.
you use those. That's one thing too is, again, talked about in previous videos of having similar passwords, but your online banking, try and always keep that separate from other sites just
Very
because,
different.
there's really a treasure trove of information for a fraudster there versus an Amazon login.
Okay. And then when you say change your passwords, do you mean obviously for sure your online banking password? But like, let's be real, I have 20 passwords to
Yep.
like all these different sites that I'm on.
Yeah, I would say kind of prioritize it. So if you store credit card information or debit card information on any of those sites, I'm guilty as charged on Amazon. I have my
Yep.
card stored there. Change the password there. Consider, that security and convenience balancing act. If you're really concerned, you could always remove that stored card and just re-enter it every time. And again, that's the comfortability, what you're monitoring. If you're really active monitoring your account 5-6 times a day, you're into everything, you're probably in a better point. But if you know, hey, limitation of I forget to check, I check every couple of days, I don't use my card a lot often, that might be probably the more pressing time to change that is if you're not going to notice something. Again, debit card transaction, if a card gets blocked, our contact center, our personal bankers will help you out, get that card blocked, get a new card ordered, sent on the way. But of course, it's inconvenient.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too. Even if you're not an AT&T customer, a good thing right now might be to kind of create a checklist of where do I have auto pays at? Where do I have card information? And even checking too, credit cards that you might haven't used for a couple of years. They're sitting out there, those store credit cards you got for maybe a big appliance and you haven't used. You're not going to expect a statement. You're not going to expect a balance, but that might be where the fraudsters hit.
Yeah, so just doing a little bit of like a credit card audit. Like where do you have things saved?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Anything else that you want to let NBC customers know before we wrap up?
I would just say that while it is, it could be an NBC debit card that gets blocked or something goes through, your information that's housed here at NBC is safe and secure. We have many safeguards. We have great vendors. Even cards getting blocked is a sign that the system is working. We're not letting that transaction go through because we know that's on our customer conducting that transaction. So it is inconvenient. Don't get me wrong. Having to reorder a card and set up auto pays, load it into different sites is an inconvenience, but it is protecting the customer. We're trying to protect funds not leaving the account and make sure that our customers have a safe and secure banking environment.
Okay, so your information at NBC is safe. Number one step would be very likely change your online banking. If you are an AT&T customer or a former customer, change your online banking password to a passphrase.
Yep.
Monitor accounts. If you really want to be diligent, look at your credit report in the next couple months. Call us if you have questions, concerns.
Yep.
Good?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. I think this is really great that we just get ahead of this.
For sure.
And let our customers know, even just a simple step to take. So I will be going and changing my password. So, okay, thanks, Max.
Thanks, Anna.